Hare Krishna. We are reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 4. Today we are going to see the episode of Lord Shiva and Dakṣa. So from this we are going to learn how to cultivate tolerance and control anger. And my name is Isvari Laxmi Priya Devi Dasi, and this is going to be from the teachings of Srila Prabhupada. So this episode is from Dakṣa Yajña. So from Srimad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 4, as I mentioned, and especially from chapter 2 onwards. So Dakṣa, he shows his arrogance, and it drives him to face the consequences also. So first what happens is Dakṣa is the son of Brahma, and Dakṣa is the chief progenitor. So his duty assigned to him, the duty assigned to him by Brahma was he has to create progeny. So he needs to generate population in the entire creation. So that was his main duty. Initially, Lord Brahma asked Sanat Kumaras, the 4 Kumaras, they were not keen to create progeny. Therefore, Brahma created Dakṣa. So Dakṣa is he's a progenitor, but at the same time he's a nice person. However, due to false ego, he creates disturbances in this yajna. So he initiates the sacrificial ceremony, and because he is a chief of the progenitors, he has the society has huge respect on him. And he enters the arena, and a lot of brahmanas and a lot of devatas are present there, and including Daksha's daughter Satī, who is the wife of Lord Shiva. And when he enters the sacrifice, he expects the honor, the respect from the audience or the members in the assembly. This is very natural for the people or the person who has material conception of life. So when one is situated in transcendental position, when he understands he is not the body, he is the spirit soul, he would not expect respect from every single person. He would not expect respect at all in the first place. And in Daksha's case, it's different because he is totally blinded by this false pride, and because he is in a high position and he wanted respect from every single person from the assembly, except any elders or someone in superior position like Lord Brahma. Because Lord Brahma is the father of Daksha, he did not expect any respect from Brahma. However, he expected respect from his son-in-law, Lord Shiva. So when he entered the arena, everyone stood up from their seats, showing their honor and respect to Daksha's entry. Daksha was so effulgent. He was coming like a sun god. He was so bright and effulgent and shiny and lustrous. But his heart was contaminated by this so-called false ego. So when he passes through everybody stood up from their seat, as I said, but Lord Shiva did not stand up. The main reason was he had his eyes closed and he was meditating on Lord Vishnu, because Lord Shiva, Vaishnavanam Yata Shambhu, he is a great Vaishnava, one of the senior Vaishnavas of Lord Vishnu. So his main pastime of Lord Shiva is always meditating on Lord Vishnu or Krishna. So this is what he was doing in the arena also. See, when you see in the public places, if one is a devotee of the Lord or saintly person, they would not like to waste time in gossiping or do any social discussion or political discussion. They would be keen to develop their consciousness in bhakti or in a spiritual path. So therefore they carry books of they carry devotional books, or they engage in devotional talking or in hearing of devotional activities of the other devotees, or hear pastimes of the Lord. This is what they do normally. They would not like to waste time or their energy in simply gossiping. That's what Lord Shiva was doing as well in the assembly sacrificial arena. He did not want to waste time. Whatever the time he had while waiting for Dakṣa to come to initiate the sacrifice, he started meditating on Lord. Sometimes the devotee do chanting also, chanting the holy name of the Lord, which is prescribed for Kali Yuga. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So these are one of these activities what the devotees of the Lord would do. That's what Lord Shiva was doing also. Dakṣa got offended and he did not recognize the transcendental position of Lord Shiva. He thought Lord Shiva was an ordinary person and a son-in-law of Dakṣa. He did not understand Lord Shiva as a great devotee, pure devotee of Lord Vishnu. So this is again how materially blinded personalities would manifest their character, like how Dakṣa did. Here, Srila Prabhupada mentions about how Dakṣa's failure would lead to consequences that he is going to face. And because you see, what happens is when Dakṣa noticed that Lord Shiva did not show respect to his father-in-law, that is Dakṣa, he cursed Lord Shiva. He insulted Lord Shiva so badly that he said that Dakṣa shouldn't have given his daughter Satī to Lord Shiva, who Lord Shiva looks like. So this is this is Dakṣa's conception about Lord Shiva, that Lord Shiva looks like a monkey. He has monkey eyes, and he lives in the crematorium. He wears ashes and skeletons and snakes and whatnot, and he doesn't have a proper dwelling place. And he is not at all socially prestigious or equal at any level to Dakṣa. This is again Dakṣa's conception of Lord Shiva, again failing to understand Lord Shiva's real position as a devotee of the Lord. So he cursed Lord Shiva. So because of Brahma's advice, Dakṣa got his daughter Satī married to Lord Shiva. Initially, from the beginning, Dakṣa doesn't have any good opinion about Lord Shiva, and it is his spiritual blindness, obviously, right? Even though he could be a great personality, but one who fails to acknowledge or respect the superior or bona fide authorities like Lord Shiva, or devotees like Lord Shiva, then there is no use of having that position, or whatever that is held by Dakṣa. So Dakṣa cursed Lord Shiva that he shouldn't get any oblations from the sacrifice. So whoever that are present in the assembly, they get their part of benefits or the oblations from the sacrifice, like devi, devatas, and so on and so forth. But Dakṣa cursed that Lord Shiva shouldn't get anything. And Lord Shiva, he kept silent, he kept quiet, and he remained calm. This is again showing the magnanimous quality of Lord Shiva. When one is advanced in the spiritual path, in devotional practice, they would not get agitated by any external factors that is manifested by anybody, that is shown by anyone like Dakṣa. So Lord Shiva remained calm, and however, a devotee of Lord Shiva, Nandishvara, he couldn't tolerate the blasphemy done by Dakṣa. So he started counter-cursing Dakṣa and other materialistic brahmanas. So the cursing and counter-cursing started to occur back and forth. This didn't look good at all for the sacrifice. The sacrifice was meant for the welfare of the entire creation, right? Entire society. and that was the intention of why Daksha was doing this sacrifice. So in the Vedic days, always this great personalities, they do this for a loka bhagya, or the fortune of the loka, the entire world. They create, they arrange such sacrifices. Even in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, in Canto 1, it is mentioned, like in Naimisharanya, which is the central hub of this entire creation. That's a very auspicious place for yajna to take place. That's where the Naimisharanya sages, like Sutta Goswami and other sages were present and reading Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam and doing the yajna for the welfare of the entire world. So this has been the common practice from the beginning of Vedic days. So this is not new, So even today we are following that. So a lot of men from Brahminical background, they arrange this sacrifice. Even I have recently attended one. This is nice, people from non-Brahminical background, they do not know the mantras normally whatever the mantras chanted during the yajna. So therefore they get this opportunity to purify themselves by hearing those sacred mantras, by attending such sacrificial ceremonies. And even in International Society of it's the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, ISKCON, that also arranges such a sacrificial yajnas, for the welfare of everybody. So this is nice. So on New Year's occasion or any special occasions, Narasimha Yajna also conducted. So this is to purify ourselves by hearing those sacred mantras. While chanting, one is purified. While hearing, one is purified, and the entire atmosphere gets purified. So this is for good cause. We do this, and even though this is not recommended for Kali Yuga, because no proper brahmanas exist who can chant the mantras very clearly and correctly, and not pure ingredients are available for the sacrifice or the yajnas, because if you do not have such raw materials like that yajna materials, or the brahmanas who are pure and can chant the mantras without any error, then we are not recommended to do that anyway in Kali Yuga. But we still do that for our own satisfaction, but it is not recommended. So the only Maha Mantra is recommended for this Kali Yuga, which is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So coming back to this Daksha episode, after seeing this counter cursing and cursing going back and forth, Shiva left the place. He left the arena. He doesn't want to be the part of this. So he moved out of the place. And what happened was Daksha arranged another sacrifice. So this time he did not invite Lord Shiva and Satī, but Satī wanted to go. She was very, eager to attend the sacrifice, and she was hoping that Daksha, her father, would have changed his attitude, would change his attitude in this upcoming sacrifice, and therefore, she can take part of the sacrifice. And Lord Shiva, as a pure devotee of the Lord, and also as Trikala Jnani, he knew the past, present and future, and therefore he advised that he shouldn't, Satī shouldn't go. But despite the advice from Lord Shiva, Satī attended, and only she received was the insult and the blasphemy to Lord Shiva. So when a pure devotee is offended by someone, another devotee cannot tolerate. So Satī, being another devotee of the Lord Vishnu, she couldn't tolerate the blasphemy that is thrown upon Lord Shiva by Daksha. Therefore, she doesn't want to be part of Daksha's blood and flesh anymore. Therefore, she invoked yogic powers and she immolated herself. She, killed herself, and therefore, so it shows that the spiritual relationship supersedes this material bondage. When one sees the blasphemy takes place to the devotee, we should become angry. So normally anger is not recommended, right? We should know how to control our anger, how to manage our anger. However, the Shastras advise that if the anger is for the right cause, for the right purpose or higher purpose, it is fine. Even as a Kshatriya, Arjuna should become angry. Otherwise, he cannot, oppose the enemy. So Lord Krishna suggested Arjuna that he should, as a Kshatriya, attack the enemies to protect the citizens of the world. So Arjuna followed the advice from Lord Krishna. So Lord Shiva, after hearing that Satī immolated herself, that devastated Lord Shiva, so he sent his follower Vīrabhadra. Vīrabhadra went to the sacrificial arena and he started destroying the whole place, and even he beheaded Dakṣa. And demigods, they became very fearful and do not want to be part of this anymore. They just fled. So these are the consequences one has to face when they express or show anger inappropriately and offend the great devotees like Lord Shiva. And Srila Prabhupada emphasized how humility and reverence in spiritual life are very important. And see, whenever there is an imbalance between the Devatas and Asuras, or even between the devotees, then Lord Vishnu, he intervenes. There is always divine intervention in such occasions where great devotees like Lord Shiva get offended. That is not ordinary situation or ordinary episode that needs to be fixed. So Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu comes and reconciles the situation and tells Lord Shiva to forgive the offense that is done by Dakṣa. See, Satī's motive was not to be a daughter of Dakṣa anymore, and she wanted to take another birth and marry Lord Shiva again. Therefore, she takes another birth for King Parvata, then she becomes Parvati and she marries Lord Shiva. So that is, even though that ends very well and they live happily ever after, this situation needs to be reconciled. That's why Lord Vishnu, he appears and balances the situation. And Lord Shiva forgives and accepts the repentance by Dakṣa. Dakṣa then realizes, see, Dakṣa is also a devotee of the Lord. It's not that he is not. Like Indra, Indra also, due to his false pride, he becomes contaminated by this type of mode of passion quite frequently, as per the Bhagavatam episodes or case studies that we see. Not that he is bad or anything like that. Those episodes are highlighted so that we can learn from those lessons. It's not that Indra is bad either. Indra is a devotee of the Lord. Indra position is very high. For a heavenly planet, he is the king. It's not an ordinary position that anyone can get unless they have that much amount of piety accumulated. So Indra proves himself. That's why he got the position. But at the same time, when he gets agitated due to his false pride, then he manifests the bad side of his, and then he later on he repents, and then then Lord Krishna or Vishnu forgives him, and then things move on. A similar thing happened to Dakṣa also. Lord Shiva forgives Dakṣa and accepting his repentance. This shows the quality of Lord Shiva. Being a devotee, usually they are forgiving, humble and tolerant. That's another thing that we need to learn from Shiva. So between the Dakṣa, Prajapati Dakṣa and Lord Shiva, the qualities that is described here, as we already studied, that Lord Shiva is very tolerant and detached. Attachment means we are attached to our own body and mind. Then we become angry quickly. We become very repulsive, like Dakṣa, failing to recognize the situation or the position of the opponent, not opponent, but the other party. And Lord Shiva simply walked away from the conflict, right? He doesn't want to get involved, continue with the argument. He doesn't want to curse either. It's not that Lord Shiva is not powerful. He cannot counter curse or anything. Even if his follower Nandishvara could counter curse, why not Lord Shiva? He could easily do that, but he doesn't want to do that. These are cheap qualities that one expecting the respect or honor, expecting the honor, and then reacting to it when they don't get it. Then that simply demonstrate that one's attachment to the body and mind. So Lord Shiva, again, embodiment of forgiveness. Also, as soon as Lord Vishnu interferes, with the divine intention, and Lord Shiva forgives Daksha. So there are so many sastrical evidences given how the devotees have demonstrated their tolerance, humility, and controlling their anger. For example, we just saw Lord Shiva and Daksha's episode, and Parikshit Maharaj being cursed. His response was similar to Lord Shiva also. So accepting and recognizing the Lord's will, Lord's plan, and go with the plan, and remaining calm, which wouldn't come naturally unless you practice devotion with the association of other devotees and hearing Nama Rupa Guna Leela of the Lord, and Sadatam Kirtayanto Mam, Kirtanya Sadahari, is always hearing and remembering the Lord and his pastimes and the devotees, his Lord's relationship with his devotees. Unless we hear all this, we won't be able to maintain this humility or tolerance. And we also see from Ambarish Maharaj in Durvasa Muni episode where Durvasa Muni become angry because Ambarish Maharaj didn't honor, there was an episode you will see in Bhakti with Aish, this channel, YouTube channel, Vallabha, my son, he has given the story of Ambarish Maharaj and Durvasa Muni. You can refer to that. And Haridas Thakur also, from the local Muslim authorities, beat Haridas Thakur in 22 marketplaces, which is simply because he was chanting Hindu mantra, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And later on, they understood the divine position of Haridas Thakur and apologized to him and let him do his mantra meditation. And Bhagavad Gita also teaches us about anger and tolerance, humility, and whatnot. So this is all Karanam Guna Sanghashya. So because of the association of this material nature, we develop this material prideness and ego and whatnot, and due to that the lust, anger, greed develop. And Bhagavad Gita 2.62 and 63 also talks about how sangat sanjayate kamaha, and also it talks about how buddhinasa pranashyati, how from simply because they are associating with the unfavorable sense object or unfavorable association, it's not related to spirituality, then what happens is if it doesn't give you the right knowledge, then it will lead you to the unfulfilled desire, and then becomes anger becomes the frustration becomes anger, and then anger becomes the bewilderment of memory, and then and then you lose the intelligence, right? And then it will lead one to fall down. So that's why it teaches this Chaitanya Charitamrita, for example, teaches us Trinadapi Sunichena Tarurupi Sahishuna, how tolerance will lead to the divine protections. In all places, like even Prahlad Maharaj's case, he tolerated his own father, demoniac king Hiranyakashipu. So that is also a lesson that we can learn from how one should develop faith in Krishna and accept Lord's plan, and develop that humility and forgive someone who is not on the same page. And anger in modern society, the anger is caused due to several reasons. For example, here this statistic says that it could be due to chronic pain or insomnia, like sleep deprivation, or hormonal imbalance, nutritional deficiency, even medicinal side effects, some neurological disorders, whatnot, so, or in environmental toxins. So many reasons it's given. These are the some examples, hidden causes of anger. So the key lessons from this pastime is we should learn how to respect the devotees or superior authorities and develop that devotional relationship, and know the consequence of offense. If one has to act, then make sure you're not offending anyone, and also recognizing Lord's role in reconciliation in such situations, and how to apply this practically in relationship, in spiritual life, and for practitioners, devotional practitioners or sadhakas. See, in any relationship, we need to pause and reflect. So we shouldn't react impulsively. We should respond. We should assess the situation. Sometimes we need to take a step back. Like most of the time, it helps when taking a step back and not expecting respect or honor, but accepting whatever that is thrown upon us. It's not like allowing someone to exploit us or misuse us. It's not like that, but assessing the situation with rational intelligence and under the guidance of Bhagavad Gita and Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, and taking the mentorship from the spiritual leaders, from the bona fide institution, etc., like ISKCON, and meditate on the Lord, and you will, as Paramatma reside in everyone's heart, you will receive that instruction from the Lord within, right? And trust the Lord and surrender. These are some of the way we can develop our humility and tolerance. Thank you very much. And Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. All glories to Srimad-Bhāgavatam and Srila Prabhupada.